guys, if you saw my last video, you saw my super simple card with Simply Succulent. I'm going to show you another way that I would make this for a little bit more of a stepped up version. So with this one, I'm going to do the same painting with Stella 2-color ombre technique, but with this one, I'm going to do a little bit more stamping, and I'm going to show you what you do when you have too much Stella that comes out into your ink pad. Okay, so for this, we are going to do the same thing we did last time. We are going to have our Evening Evergreen card base and then a basic white card front. Again, very easy for a beginner, just 2 colors of paper, not a lot else is needed. And then this little scrap you can use for your stamping. On this one, I am going to use Memento again because it is the best with Stella. And I'm going to take our 2 little succulent stamps again and just stamp my own background. So you can kind of put them wherever you want, randomly across the card front. And then I'm also going to stamp another one of these over here. I know there are die cuts, but I'm just going to fussy cut for the sake of keeping it simple. Then fill in with some of our bigger ones. I like to turn the stamp almost every time I use it. That way they are not all going the same direction. Gives it a little bit more interest. Get some edges on there. And then any major holes like that one, I'm going to go back in with the smaller one. And fill that in. We're going to get one more edge over here. Keep it nice and full. So same as in the last video, we are just going to take our Wink of Stella and paint these with our soft succulent and evergreen. If you love these as much as I do, stock up. They are leaving and it is going to be a very sad day. As you can see here, I've done this a lot of times with these. So in the last card, I did one large ombre going down the whole image. This time I'm going to do that to each of these individual images. Just do dark bottoms on all of them. This way you will have sparkle throughout the background of your card. And there's never a thing as too much sparkle. You can also vary where you are grabbing ink on your stamp pad because that will also help you get different shades of the same green for doing this. I also know that this looks like it is running low. That is because I'm going to show you what happens when you squeeze too much. When you use a Stella a lot, you get pretty good at it, but for beginners, I apologize for the train. For beginners, it is definitely hard to get a Stella started. So, if you are like most beginners and you squeeze your Stella too hard, you are gonna have a lot of ink. Well, not ink, I guess sparkle. You'll have a lot of sparkle come out and you're gonna have an, oh no, what do I do? Look at all of this that is in here. This is the perfect time to stamp with Stella. I know that people are just considering this series using Stella with stamping, and that is, but you can stamp with Stella if you mix it with ink. So I'm gonna just take a scrap piece of vellum. This is where we're gonna get our sentiment. We're gonna get our thank you stamp or thanks out of the set. You're just gonna dab it in here a couple times, double check it, make sure you're getting all that sparkle on there. and then super gently stamp your sentiment, and it is now in sparkle. These do take a bit to dry, so set it aside in a safe place so that it can dry while you are finishing up the rest of that card. You can also stamp images with this. I have done that before. There's not much you can't stamp. The simpler words are a little easier though, because it does get a little bubbly, but once it dries it will look good. I like doing it on vellum so you can really see that sparkle, but it looks good on any color of cardstock. And I'm just gonna go in the tops with all of this sparkle we have now. Get that soft succulent on there. It also makes it really quick to paint when you have so much come out. So if you're doing a lot of cards in a row, it's not always a bad thing to have a lot come out at one time. I'm also going to use this to paint our extra image. Let me get more edges on that one. Get a little bit more ink. There we go. That one needs some more color. Gonna give this background a second to dry. Super simple background, like I said, and then I'm gonna go ahead and stamp our image. I'm gonna do a lighter center for this succulent and then evening evergreen for our outer parts. That way it will tie in all of our colors. It's also nice to have these stamp pads messy, because if you ever need to take sparkle from this side, add it to this side, it's not going to be that big of a deal, especially if you're working within the same color family. This is going to be a set that I am definitely sad to see go. There are so many pretty things that you can do with these stamps and dies. All right, and then like I said, I'm just gonna fussy cut this so that we stay beginner friendly on this card. There are dies that go with this, but you don't always need a die. This will also give our sentiment a little bit of extra time to keep drying. It's getting there though. I will fast forward this cutting for you, so that way you don't have to watch me fussy cut the whole thing. Okay, that is that. We are gonna now take our bone folder, fold our card base. Again, we are using Evening Evergreen for the back. I like a nice dark color behind an ombre to really make that pop. That way you can see what color you are pulling out. Fun, just a little bit of Stamp and Seal. Do we want dark to light or light to dark? We're gonna do light to dark. Add that on here. There. sentiment is almost dry, so for this, I'm going to use the white frayed ribbon. I love this ribbon. I use it a lot. I've cut a little piece. It's probably about 3 inches. Let's trim this off. There we go. We are also just going to use Stampin' Seal for this. Put a line along here to hold it on. I like putting a ribbon behind a vellum sentiment to help the words read a little better. And then we are going to adhere this with a Stampin' Dimensional. We are going to put it right here so that way we can cover it up easily later. So for our sentiment, we're going to stick it on here. Little bit of ribbon sticking out. Make sure our words are on our ribbon so we can read them. And then we are going to adhere our spare succulent right over the top of where that dimensional is. So that way you can't see how it's held on. Also gives you a little bit of a floating technique. So that is the stepped up version of our Stampin' with Stella monochromatic ombre. Super easy. If you ever get too much Stella, you can definitely stamp a sentiment with that. It is not hard at all. Here's another one that I have done. A little bit darker. This one was a little bit less Stella in the lid. Still enough. A lot more ink that I had down here. So that is what those would look like. I will keep going with this series. If you guys like it, let me know in the comments. Thanks.